Hey guys, welcome to Free-to-Play Friday. Today we are covering a soon-to-be free-to-play MMO called Rift by Tryon Worlds. So first, I'll show off character creation. You have the Guardians and the Defiant. The Guardians are kind of like the Alliance of World of Warcraft, and Defiance are like Horde. Kind of. So, as you can see here, the Guardians basically have humans, elves, and dwarves. Although they call them high elves, dwarves, and then the humans, I don't believe are called humans. Yeah, I'm not going to try pronouncing that, but they're basically the humans. They each have an active and a passive that they can use, I should say. The active usually is a very basic thing like a movement speed increase or something like that, and the passive is usually a resistance of some kind. All the races have access to all the classes, as I'm demonstrating right now: warrior, cleric, mage, and rogue. The Defiant have a human, that's like a darker skin human, I guess, is basically what it is. I'm not really sure the difference besides cultural differences. You also have these guys, they're kind of like purple humans, really. The only real difference between the two. And you got the really big purple human guys. And yeah, they have the exact same classes as well: warrior, mage, cleric, and rogue. All 4 classes available to all 3 races. Now, we have, in the game, there is something called the purpose. Within each class are a set of talent tree roles. So you can see there's 2 DPS, 2 tank, and 1 support for the warrior. And they have different fighting styles. And you can read the description next to each of them. And feel free to pause and read longer if you have to. I'm not going to read everything. You can see it there, you're reading it as it's going through. I'll go into further detail later in the video about how the purpose works. For right now, character creation is just a starting build where your talents are going to go if you want them to go that way. The talent system is much more detailed. You have 3 trees, and each tree is a soul. 3 souls combined together make a purpose, basically. You choose a purpose, it gives you 3 souls that go with that, and those 3 souls make up of that fighting style. Or that play style, I should say. Because it could be healer, not really a fighting style. You could choose not to follow the purpose and put points in wherever you want. And that's usually beneficial, I find. Character creation, you can see here I'm just kind of playing with the face. You can move it to make it fatter, skinnier, longer. And you have all the different, facial hair and other. You can see it on screen. There's not a lot I have to demonstrate there. So now that we're in game, the big feature of this game, rifts. What are rifts? Why do we do rifts? I just turned the sound on because I realized it wasn't on. But a rift is an event in the world. You'll see this that I'm saying next to it. It's a tear. It took me a while to figure out what I had to do because I usually don't open them. But basically, a rift is one of the couple of elements in the game will appear, and that's the rift type. So you have like a fire rift, a death rift. The visuals around it will change based on the element, the damage the mobs do, and the mob models will change based on it. So you're not going to fight a sea monster in a fire rift. You're going to fight like fiery demons and things like that. And it consists of stages. Stage 1's a few mobs, and stage 2 is slightly more mobs. 3 is usually like a bonus round because you did the other rounds. You get a bonus round if you can clear the entire bonus round in the time limit. You get a bonus to your reward. And then usually there's a kind of like a boss. These aren't very difficult. Usually there's multiple people because people are just running around the world closing them all. you will get an item that you'll see when this rift is done called Planarite. That is used to trade in for basically PvE gear that you can use while leveling. And it's usually the best gear in the zone, I find. Although the gear you craft in this game also is very useful. And we'll go into that in further detail when we get to that part. The reason you want to do these rifts, a rift will spawn a couple mobs, but what can happen is if enough rifts open around the world, they'll start an invasion, like a death invasion or a fire invasion or a life invasion. The mobs start taking over the zone and start killing NPCs, and you'll have to start killing them, or else basically you can't quest. And it kind of makes it interesting. People always go around and clear these little tears because that will lead, a tear leads to basically a rip, and the entire zone will be under invasion, and you can't really quest there unless people are clearing the zone. And you'll get rewards for it, because that's how MMOs work. You do things, they give you rewards, you feel good about yourself. So, I'm not going to kit out this rift, really. Right there you see what it actually looks like from the top. It's kind of just wading down water, or dripping down water, because this is a water rift. As I was about to say, I'm not cutting out anything from this rift because you can see how long this will take. The zone I'm in is the zone I just finished, so I'm a bit higher than the level required to do this, as are a couple other people in this party I found. So we get through this pretty quickly. If you do one with level appropriate people, it might take a little longer, but you get an idea. So I had a quest to close rifts, which I completed, and you'll see me just handing in the quest right now. And that little bag you see, I just clicked on, that's your loot. So I got 25, I believe that says. I can't read how small that letter is on my screen. Here we have the Planarite vendor in Gloomwood, the second zone. You can see where I am, it's where the vendor is. You have some gear, and the gear requires a Planarite, you can see there how much I have. Some gear also requires the stones that you see next to my Planarite at the bottom right of the window. Those stones can be, random chance or off killing higher mobs. They can open boxes that give 150 Planarite or more. Every zone, the boxes give you more, but some gear requires the stones flat out. So once you get all the gear that requires stones, trade the stones in for a big chunk of Planarite. I'm not going to cover PvP much in this video because I covered it in yesterday's video that focused on it, but here's the vendor. You get favor, trade the favor in. So now I'm going to talk about the talent system. As you can see, I'm a Tactician, Nightblade, and Blade Dancer. Those are my three souls, as they call them, that give me. Tactician is different abilities, with Nightblade is kind of like melee, and Blade Dancer is kind of like a bit of survivability, but I found I don't need it yet because I'm still kind of early on. So here are the callings, or the purposes, as I was talking about at the beginning of the video. You click on each of these, they have different, you can see what they are, how many points each tree is going to put in, and so on. As you see, I am this. I'm a flame trooper, except I'm not following the purpose. If I was to follow the purpose, which I can't really show you right now, certain abilities would be highlighted, and I can click a button that basically when I level up, it automatically put points into what it thinks I should be in order to become the purpose that I chose, whatever it is that you're playing. You can disable that, which it's off by default, so you don't have to worry about it if you don't want it. They're pretty good. You get along fine with the purpose. They're not big changes. But I think if you want to min-max your character for endgame or PvP, then you definitely want to make up your own mind, or do what a lot of people do is look online for the builds. A buddy of mine plays a tank, and he found that certain points they were putting points into because of his purpose weren't actually helping him take damage, and that was his current problem. So he decided to stop the purpose. You can stop at any time. You can also reset this. You can swap souls in and out. You don't have to use any of these. I could be back here. I could be Ranger, Marksman, and a Rift Stalker if I wanted to. It's not one of the preset. Wrong button. It's not one of the preset purposes, but it's viable. The way the abilities work. You see down here, this number 12 on this Lost Hope ability. When I put 12 points into Nightblade, I get that ability. Then 16 points, then 20 points. Most of my points currently are in Tactician, so when I put 3 more points into Tactician, I'll get this, Power Core. You don't have to buy abilities, you don't have to train them from rank 1 to rank 2, rank 3, which I believe was in the game on launch, but that has changed. And now, I'll quickly, in the same clip really, I don't have to cut anything, I'll talk about crafting. You can have 3 professions, any mismatch I believe. I'm a butcher, which is kind of like a Skinner from most games. I don't believe actually, is that it? No, that's a workbench. I don't think the required, I don't know what you'd call this, required bench, I guess you could say, is in this area. But I need a loom, as it says here. With a loom, I can turn medium hide, which I skin off animals, into medium leather. I'm also an outfitter. An outfitter, obviously, is what turns the wool and leather into armor, right? Obviously. I never actually noticed this, I can make bags now. 10-slot bags, which should be very useful for me. I can also make augments to increase my deflect skill when applied to items. I can also increase my run speed or mounted speed with riding chaps and insoles. Here's the leather armor. The materials. So I could make a couple bolts of wool and make a bag. If there was a loom here, I would do that. But apparently there isn't, so I'm going to fast travel. Which is you step through these portals and teleport around the world. Also, you can craft things when the materials are in your bank, which I find very nice. If you take raw materials like the medium hide and turn it into medium leather, the product medium leather will be the medium hide will be taken out of your bank, and the medium leather will be crafted and put into your bags. But this total, 4 bolts of wool, I don't have on me. As you can see, my inventory is empty of crafting materials because everything goes in the bank. And as you'll see here in a second, I won't need my materials. I want to create these bolts of wool. Over here is the bank. Here's the wool. But I'm not going to take it. Or here's that's not the wool, that's the remade wool. Here's the actual wool here, wool cloth. I'm not going to take it, I'll just leave it there. Because I can go over here actually, to the loom, and craft it. Crafting is very simple, but I find the gear is actually quite useful. If you do a lot of the rifts and you get a lot of the rift gear, like say you entered Gloomwood as a second zone and you did a lot of rifts in Silverwood, and then you instantly buy all the Planerite gear, the crafting that you're going to get from killing creatures, like the crafting you make in the second zone is all medium leather stuff. The gear is probably not going to be not going to be better because the Planerite gear is the best. but it's only 3 pieces out of a full set of gear. So this chest piece is what I'm wearing. It is the best piece of gear I could be wearing right now that I have access to getting. I can't say for drops or anything, but this is better than the Planarite piece that I got from the vendor. If there is chest piece, I might be wrong actually about that. But I want to bake that bag. I made the wool. I need the bag, but I need plain thread. Plain thread is just from a vendor the standard trade goods you need. And we'll make this bag. Very simple. Not a very detailed crafting system. I keep pressing V by accident. Not a very detailed crafting system, but the materials and the things you get from it, like those boots are better. If I could get heavy leather, which is actually the next zone, those boots would be better for me. They require level 29. I am level 29. You see a lot of games, like World of Warcraft, that the gear is basically useless. People don't bother professioning until max level, and then they just, buy all the materials and make everything. And if they tried professioning and they're running an alt, all the gear is useless because dungeons drop so much better gear so much easier. In vanilla, you didn't do as many dungeons, so gear from professions was actually kind of good. But now that dungeons are so easy with LFR, or LFG, I should say, that there's no need to craft a lot of the low-level gear. But in this game, it's still very useful. So that pretty much covers everything that I want to talk about. As I said, I'm not going to cover PvP, although here I can show you on the map this little pointy end. This is the PvP area where the quartermasters are and everything like that. You can see here people are, the guards are training and stuff like that. I'm not going to cover PvP because I just made a PvP Thursday video covering the first battleground in Rift, and I'll continue to make more every week, covering 1 or 2 battlegrounds, or war zones as they're called in this game, per week. So what do I think about Rift? Well, it's a free-to-play game. I played this game on launch. I pre-ordered it, and then I got the collector's edition because someone actually hacked my account. Later on, I went to the game, I should say. Let me preface this. I bought the game on launch. Someone hacked that account. I stopped playing. When I came back to the game, that's when I found out my account was hacked. So I bought another game. I bought the collector's edition this time. Played for a bit. I got kind of bored of the game because no one was playing anymore. People left after about a month after launch. Around the time I left because everyone went back to Warcraft. People went back to Warcraft, and I've seen a few reasons float around the internet about why that is. And I kind of agree with the people that I mentioned certain points, that Warcraft was a lot of people's first MMORPGs. It was the first experience running around an open world with other players and, doing that kind of experience. There were games that came before that, like EverQuest or Anarchy Online, which I did play before, but I found I am one of those people that I liked Warcraft. It was the game I was playing throughout high school. So me, as a lot of other people, went back to Warcraft. Now that the game's going free to play, I had a hunch that people would enjoy the game again. So when I came back to the game a third time, let me actually back that a little bit. I came back to the game about 4 months before it went free to play. No one was playing this game. But what I did was, I put an authenticator on my account, the account with the collector's edition previously talked about, it got hacked as well. I can't say that everyone's being hacked in this game, or that's a problem, but for some reason I was hacked twice on the same game. So I got an authenticator. I got an authenticator on WoW, I got an authenticator on Old Republic, I got authenticator when I purchased Final Fantasy XIV because it came with the collector's edition. So I got one for Rift. They have a mobile authenticator. I installed it. Been perfectly fine since. Came back to the game because I had a hunch that people will be returning to this game because it's going free to play. I was surprised and unaware, obviously, because that's why I was surprised. If you had an account, previous account, you could actually play for free now. You know, they gave people early access. But the people that didn't, they have to wait until mid-June in order to get the free-to-play options. There's a Rift Lite available on the site where you can play up to level 20 for free. And if you try logging onto your account and you're not subscribed, you can't log into any character above level 20. But you can make new characters and log into lower level characters. But I was surprised to be able to log into my level 28 cleric that I made last time I played. So then I found out that if you have the game, you can start early. So I'm like, oh, sweet. Well, let's install the game. Because I think my hunch was people will be playing this game again. Or I wouldn't necessarily playing again, but people will be discovering this game again because of the free-to-play option. That was right. I saw more players in Gloamwood fishing, just sitting there doing fishing dailies that are available, than I've ever seen play this game at one time. Like in one zone, that is. That pleased me, to say the least. Because I thought this game was fun, but I got bored and went back to Warcraft. But right now I'm taking a break from Warcraft, along with a lot of people are if you follow online, news sites. So with the game going free to play, they've changed features. I think the game is slightly easier to level. I find it quite easy. I'm already level 29 in about 3 days of playing, and not playing very much either. PvP is a lot of fun as well. The details, as I previously mentioned, will be on another video. But I find it very entertaining. It's not... Those of you that play Warcraft and say that there's no teamwork, there is teamwork in this game. For some reason, the community just works together. I can't speak for raiding yet or what endgame is like because I've never been there before. But I find dungeons aren't a nice... Dungeon queue is still kind of long for some reason, even though there's a lot of people playing. Maybe people don't know that you can queue for dungeons. Or they just aren't because they don't want to do group content because they find questing fun, which I don't know why. I'm playing, as I mentioned, with the Tactician, which has this nice flamethrower, which you'll see in the background is what I'm using. I can pull 5 or 6 guys and just kill them all at the same time it takes me to kill one, because I have regenerating health with my buffs and I can put some other things down. I'm having a lot of fun, and leveling is really easy that way. I'm getting quests done in 2 pulls instead of 8 individual pulls. But if people don't want to do dungeons, that's fine. I'll queue. It might take half an hour for me to get a queue. Maybe not that long. Maybe 15 minutes. That's fine because in WoW I played a DK, a DPS DK. And, queues for LFR were 45 minutes, and that would be a fast queue. Usually they're an hour and a half on my server. So a 20-minute queue wasn't bad in this game. It's a nice change of pace from doing quests. The world looks alright. I'm not a big one to, decide a game based on graphics, because I still play Warcraft occasionally. Up to this point I've been playing Warcraft, I should say. And I know because of who I am, I'll go back to Warcraft at some point. But hey, this is a change of pace. I want to get to endgame and see what that's like. quests, there's something special about the questing system. It's a lot of go and kill this, go and kill that, go loot this, escort him. That gets interrupted by rifts, which aren't going on in the zone at the moment. I don't know, people bash this game, and I could see, I guess, why. It's not very, from the outside it doesn't seem very good, but I have a lot of fun playing it, and a lot of people have a lot of, you see people talk about how they have fun playing this game. A lot of people argue about saying that this game is better than WoW or vice versa, and yet why are people on this game if they think WoW is better to go play WoW? But I think that will do it for this review. I'm not going to give it a score. I don't really feel that that's what this video is going to be about, or this series, I should say. I just want to kind of explain the features, outline them, show you some gameplay, and if you decide to play, then congrats. Hopefully you like it. If you want to do Recruit a Friend, send me a PM on YouTube and I can send you a referral link for this game. I believe you get a mount, and if you subscribe, I get time, and we both get bonuses. So if you want to do that, fine. Anyway, guys, I'll see you next time. Don't forget to subscribe for more videos, and see you in the next one.